Good evening, everyone. Good evening, wherever you are across the world. My name is Yetunde Beatrice once more, and I want to say thank you for joining me today on today's episode. And thank you also to our new subscriber and existing subscribers and those who are looking to subscribe. I hope you're doing well. And I hope your plans to study abroad or your family plans or your friends' plans are going on successfully. Welcome again. Welcome wherever you are, whether Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, Malawi, Zimbabwe, the UK, the US, all around Europe, or all around Africa or Asia. Welcome to today's episode. So last week I talked about, you know, ability to identify opportunities when you're looking to study abroad. And I've also talked about, how to plan your fees, but I just mentioned a bit about it. So today's episode will solely focus on how to plan your finance and how you could put things together, especially when you're looking to bring dependents into the UK. So welcome once more. And I do encourage you, if you've not subscribed and you're watching me right now, please click on the subscribe button and also click on the notification bell. So whenever I go online, you'll be able to get that notification to join me live on YouTube. And of course, please don't be the only one listening to this great news. Don't be the only one sharing ideas. Share this video to any of your loved ones that you know are willing to go outside of the country, or those who are looking to do study abroad, or those who are looking to bring their families in the UK or any other country. So welcome, welcome, and welcome. And I do encourage you, if you have any question, please do not forget to add that on the chat button. So you see a live chat session where you can type in your questions, and as I progress, I'll pick up questions and answer them. So there is a saying, a very popular saying that says education is the key to success. Not just education, but I do say the ability to pick up opportunities, the ability to research, and the ability to show the eagerness to learn, to develop, and to move ahead is also a key to moving to the next step. As people will always say, climbing up a ladder is quite not easy, but it's quite easy to come down the ladder. So I hope as you listen to me today, that you'll be able to get all the information you need to move to the next level. So today's topic will cover planning your finance, not just planning your finance. I would also talk about some institutions where you can get scholarship opportunities. I'm going to just highlight on scholarship. But in my next episode, I will stress and expand more on different scholarships and how you can access them. Now, today is just to focus on planning your finance, what you need to put into consideration when you are looking to study abroad. So, planning your finance in the sense of thinking about discounts, thinking about affordability of city, thinking about the flexibility of payments for institution. Those are the factors that you need to put into consideration, especially when you're looking to study abroad. Now, and I'll also talk about mistakes that people make. I'll talk about scenarios. Now, the reason why it's good for you to learn or to get more information about scenario is to plan yourself. You know about how the system works. You know about how to meet up to your fees payments. You know about what you need to put in place. So I have some notes down here for you, and I do encourage you, if you have any question, please feel free to drop that at the live chat, and I'll pick them one by one and answer them. Now, planning your finance, how much would you need, or how much will you need, or how much will your family need when they are thinking of studying in the UK? I'm taking UK as an example because it's quite easy, especially when you're considering picking a place, whether UK, Australia, the US, or the Canada. But in reality and based on experience, UK is quite easy, very, very easy as compared to Canada and Australia when you're looking to do a study abroad. Because, the requirement is not difficult, it's quite easy. All you just need to do is to make application to your university of choice, and then there you go. Unlike Canada, where you have to, have IELTS, where there are a lot of, too much intense screening. So the UK is quite easy, very easy when you're looking to do your master's or you're looking to do an undergraduate study or if you're looking to do a PhD study. I will explain that later on. But first of all, the first thing you should think of is organizing your finance. The first thing you should think of is what you need to put in place. First thing you should think of is how you can put those funding in place. Now, we all know it's not easy, especially when you're looking to study outside the country, especially if you're coming from Africa or from India. If you put into consideration the exchange rate, it's way high, very high. And then that alone should give you that, what can I say, that pace or more time to plan. Now, I'll tell you an instance. When I was coming to do my own study, it wasn't a decision I made within a day or two or week or month. It took me years to plan ahead. And the same thing I tell anyone who come to me, who come for consultancy support, or who come for education support. I do tell them, if you're looking to study, it's not something you can just do within a month. It takes time to plan. You have to think about the finance. You're not only going to be paying for fees, you're also going to be paying for accommodation fees. You will be paying for living expenses. You have to put that into consideration. If you're looking to bring your family, whether your husband or your wife or your kids, you also need to consider their feeding, you need to consider their schooling, you need to consider the way they are going to live their life conveniently in any country you're looking to travel to or you're looking to relocate to, especially when you're looking about or you're looking on looking for academic progression rather. So now how much do you need to pay? How much fees do you need to have? Is there any discount available in the university? Those are the things you need to put into consideration. Is there any flexibility of payment, or is there any scholarship? Now, first thing first, if you're watching me right now, you're still considering or you're still looking for a university to study, I would mention some university for you that you could look into when you're considering affordability of fees. Now, in my last video, I mentioned about the importance of selecting universities that are located in cities that are affordable. Now, from previous experience or previous chats with prospective students or friends or family, some of them would think Scotland, for instance, or Wales, for instance, are way cheaper or affordable than the UK, than England rather. They're all in the UK. Now, the thing that people don't do is to make research, to go online and just check affordability or standard of living in these regions, in this area. Now, I mentioned in my last video about Lincoln. I mentioned about some places like Sheffield. I mentioned places like Portsmouth that people don't know about, Bournemouth, that you can actually live, pay affordable fees and or affordable accommodation. So those are the places most of the time you should think about when you're looking to study. Now, that doesn't mean if you want to study in London or you want to have experience of London that you shouldn't go to London. But the first thing you should think of is think about your pocket, think about what you have at hand, think about what your parents can afford, think about what your spouse can afford. And when you apply or when you go for an affordable city, it doesn't mean that you wouldn't have access to those bigger cities like London, like Nottingham, or like Edinburgh. So it means that you're just trying to watch your pocket, you're just trying to stay in an affordable city. At the same time, when opportunity come up for you in other cities after your studies, you can then move or you can then relocate. Now, how much fees you need to consider? I'll take an example. Number one example I have is the University of Lincoln. Now, people will always ask me, why do I take Lincoln as an example? Because I work in Lincoln, I deal with recruitment in Lincoln, and I've seen how affordable University of Lincoln, for instance, is like. And I explained to you, I'll talk about other universities as well, so it doesn't look like I'm biased. So now, University of Lincoln, first of all, the fees. For instance, if you're looking to do course like MSc management or you're looking to do management with project management, you need to start looking at fees around £16,000 to £16,500. MBA cost around 16,600. Now, when someone hear that, the first thing is a lot. That's one thing you think first. But it doesn't end there. You also then need to check the website of the university, for instance, Lincoln, the affordability or the accessibility of scholarship that University of Lincoln have. For instance, University of Lincoln gave £5,000 scholarship to any student who have second class lower and above. And that goes to students who have applied to January 2023 intake. So it means if you've not applied, you can still access that if you have 2-2 and above. When I mean 2-2 and above, it means it consists of 2-1 of first class. Now, if you think about that and you have 2-2 and above, and you apply to course like MSc Management with 1 year placement in September intake, for instance, it means that out of your £16,500, you're already getting £5,000 discounts off your fees. Isn't that amazing? Yes, it is amazing. That is not the only institution in the UK that gives discounts. Now, moving on ahead, if you think about the £5,000 scholarship, you also need to look at the flexibility of payment for each institution. Now, before I talk about the flexibility of Lincoln, I'll talk about example. For instance, the Glasgow Caledonian University. So I do not have right over the university, but I'm just mentioning based on my research and my previous experience, of course, working as a vice president of the student union then. So GCU have the postgraduate ambassador scholarship, for instance, is something you can always access if you're looking to go to Scotland. But if you're looking to go to England, Lincoln is something I could recommend, especially where you're looking for affordability of city or you want to stay in England very close to London. Now, GCU have the postgraduate ambassador scholarship that gives a scholarship of £15,000. That is not the only example. We have some other institutions like Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire, for instance, will give a scholarship of £500 to £400. Now, I've made example of three different universities that give scholarship. Now, for Hertfordshire, it's if you're applying for a master's course, for instance, you're doing non-science master's course, you can just apply directly. But look at it, it is £500 to £4,000. While their fees, of course, ranges from £14,000 to £15,000, depending on the program. Now, let's compare that to Lincoln. I'm not just trying to compare schools, but it's just giving you examples of institution, examples of things you should put into consideration when you're coming to study. So let's say you apply to Lincoln. I mentioned about the MSc Management with the one with placement, yeah? And that's a 2-year course for just £16,500. And if you have a 2-2 and above, you get the £5,000 off, which will reduce your fees from £16,500 to £11,500 for a 2-year course. Now, don't forget, University of Lincoln don't take fees for placement here. That is also for a student A who want to consider that having a very affordable fees for a 2-year course program that gives a placement opportunity. Now, for Hertfordshire, the fees, the discount ranges from £500 to £4,000. So, and the fees could be £14,500, for instance. And let's say you have the £500 off. So it means you are getting £14,000 to pay for a student if you have applied automatically. So those are examples of fees of universities you could, look into. And this is not just the only university in the whole of UK. There are lots and lots and lots of universities in the UK. Now, if you're here, of course, you're looking for programs that have placement opportunities. There are different ways you could check that out. Now, in my next videos, I would probably do like an examples of how you can search. Now, the major problem of most African students or Asian students is most students find it very difficult to search things by themselves online. When I mean search things, it doesn't mean they don't go online, but the data you use or probably the time you spend on the website checking things might be a bit stressful. Some people find it very stressful. So I'm talking about, experience chatting with students or prospective applicants. So now, very easy. If you want to get courses with placements, the first thing first you should think about or familiarize yourself with is Google. Google is your friend, always your friend. All you need to do is go on Google, search programs with placement opportunities, or search universities in UK, or search universities in Canada, or search universities that have programs with placement opportunities. And then you can find more of this information on the website. So I'll just quickly move on. To permit me, I will not be spending an hour today because of time, but I will still encourage you, if you have your question, this is your chance to drop that on the chat session. Now, let's move on the living cost, your finance itself. I mentioned about the importance of looking for the universities that is affordable for you. Now, it's understandable that not everyone will go to the most expensive university in the UK. Now, the fact that you go to the affordable one doesn't mean you're not receiving a quality education. Do bear in mind that any university or some university you see in the higher ranking is as a result of the research portfolio that they do or that they have. So, which means that most institutions in the UK, of course, have a quality education. And there are ways you could search that out by checking each university's website, looking at their rankings, or looking at their TEF, which is the Teaching Excellence Framework ranking or the award they've received in the past or currently. So now, in terms of living expenses, I've mentioned about fees. I've mentioned about how you need to look at scholarships available for you. I've mentioned about examples of some universities that give £5,000, 50% scholarship. Even some go ahead and giving full scholarship. Now, the fact that you have full scholarship, or for instance, 50% scholarship from Lincoln, or the postgraduate ambassador scholarship in GCU in Glasgow, doesn't mean you still don't need to have, living expenses cost in your pocket or prepared. Now, in as much as you have that fees out for you, you need to consider planning towards your bank statement. Hi, Olivia. Thank you for joining me. Thank you so much for joining me. Welcome. So I do encourage, if you've not subscribed, please click on the subscribe button. If you've not liked, please like my video. If you've not shared, use this opportunity to share to any students who would need study abroad information. So now, I mentioned that, apart from your fees, you also need to consider your bank statements. Don't forget there are some countries, some EU countries and some American countries that don't need bank statement. But if you're coming from regions like Africa, India, or Pakistan, you need to prepare your bank statement, especially when your country is on the red list. Hi, Moki. Anthony, thank you for joining me. Thank you. Welcome from Regent University. Thank you so much for joining me. I do encourage you, if you have your questions, this is your chance to put that on the chat, live chat. I'll pick those questions and answer them. And also, please share this video to any of your friends, family member who need study abroad opportunities. This is a chance for us to share ideas and, of course, to ask any questions that might be bothering you or any guidance you need about studying abroad. So now, as I continue, you need to prepare your bank statements. Now, the first thing you should bear in mind is having your own conditional offer. Once you have your own conditional offer, the next stage will be for you to pay your fees to get a CAS. Now, every institution in the UK would require you to have a CAS. If there's anyone outside or any friend, telling you don't need a CAS to apply for visa, the person isn't open or truthful to you. So you need an unconditional offer, then following CAS requests. Now, different institutions have their own fees or ranges of money you have to pay before you get your CAS. An example is University of Lincoln, where you'll be required to pay £3,000 to the university account to be able to request for CAS. Now, some universities require you to pay £5,000. Some will tell you to pay half of the fees. Some will tell you to pay £7,000 before you can progress to CAS. But an example is Lincoln, University of Lincoln, that would require you to pay £3,000 to request for CAS. And then you get your CAS. Your CAS is what you use or what you need for your visa application. And don't forget, on the same CAS, your family can depend on you. So when you are putting in your application with the CAS, your wife, your husband, or your kids can depend on you. So they can apply for visa at the same time once you have the funding for them to study abroad, for them to come with you abroad. Now, planning your bank statement, there are lots of mistakes that students do, especially when they are considering, studying in the UK or studying elsewhere. Now, your bank statement and the amount that is supposed to be in your bank statement needs to be very clear. Hi, Tina. Thank you so much for joining. And very good that you've completed your studies at Regent University in Ghana. And also, I'll mention Regent University are also one of the University of Lincoln's partner in Ghana. And of course, there's a lot of support from students all over the world, including Regent University, to get £5,000 scholarship, especially when they're considering to do a master's degree in the University of Lincoln. Welcome, Tina. I welcome you to the show, and please do not forget to drop your question at the live chat, and I will take them one by one. So as I mentioned earlier, you need to consider the money in your bank account. It's not just about having your school fee. You have to have the living expenses fees. Now, if you're looking to apply for visa after getting the unconditional offer, you need to bear in mind the total fees you will be paying for visa application. If you're applying outside the UK, you pay a fees of £363 in dollars, you need to make that equivalent, or in your local currency, you need to make that equivalent. And if you're extending in the UK, then you have to pay up to £400 per se, £450 per se. So you need to put that into consideration. And if you're applying from outside the UK, you can apply 6 months before your start date. Now, bear this in mind. The fact that you're applying 6 months before the start date does not mean you can arrive 6 months. You can only arrive 1 month before your start date. So all this information are all on the website. Babs, welcome. Thank you for joining me. You're welcome back. Babs, so now, as I was saying, you can apply 6 months before your start date for visa application. But if you want to arrive, you can only arrive within 1 month to your start date. So you need to bear that in mind. Now, I mentioned earlier, if you're applying for visa, you need to have £363 if you're applying outside the UK. If you are applying, within the UK, you need up to over £400 to apply for your visa application. Now, that is not the only expenses that you would need to consider. You also need to consider your health surcharge. So, health surcharge is very accessible for you. If you check the gov.uk, you'll be able to calculate the amount you'll be needing for health surcharge. Now, one thing that most African or Asian or some Europe students suffer from is they don't make research. Now, these things are quite easier for you, especially if you're a student that are not using agents. But I do encourage, if you have any reliable source or reliable agents that can help you with your application, please do endeavor you use them. Make sure you use them. And if you want to search for genuine agents, the first thing first is look at the university you're applying to, check their website. Most universities will have lists of quality agents that they work with. For instance, if you're working with University of Lincoln, you're looking to do a master's or undergrad in University of Lincoln. Once you go to the university, www.lincoln.ac.uk, you type on the search button, you type in agents, you will see the list of agents all across the world, the global agents they work with. Likewise, any university you're looking to study in Nottingham, whether in Glasgow or Edinburgh, any university will have the list of their agents on their website. And if you don't have, there are popular agents who are already existing in Nigeria that can help you, or any agent that could help you in Ghana, in Kenya, in Malawi. So there are many of them that could support you. So please endeavor you check your agents, scrutinize them, check that they are genuine, check their visit them at their office and make sure that they're genuine to be able to help you. So health surcharge is also something. How can you find health surcharge fees? It's very easy. What you need to do if you're looking to study in the UK is just go to Google. Google is your friend. When you type in gov.uk, it takes you to the government website. The government website, just type student visa. It takes you to the page of student visa. From there, you see all the information you will be needing, especially when you're looking to do your studies. Not just studies, if you are looking to do a skilled worker visa, that will be another topic of the day where I'll talk about opportunities you can get, because we do have some people who are able to apply for jobs right from their home country to get into the UK, especially if you've applied for jobs that are in high demand, like care workers, nursing, medicine, or let's say if you're a psychologist or physiotherapist or a radiographer, or you are an IT or data analyst. Those are very high sought for jobs. So that is another discussion for another day. So I'll talk on that. So I will advise you, click on the notification bell, subscribe so that you can get updates of every of my shows, and you can learn and get the information that you need to move to the next level. So apart from health surcharge, you also need to consider some fee payments, some visa fee payments. and living expenses. If you're looking to study in the UK, you need, of course, up to £1,000, £1,023. If you're looking to study in the UK outside London, if you're looking to do in London, you will need like approximately £1,334. So all this information are all on the government website. Just go on gov.uk, type in student visa. It takes you to everything you need. Now, there's is this adage which I really love most is, and I like telling my students, I like telling any applicant I come across with, I tell them, if you seek for knowledge, knowledge will find you. Now, if you love to research, you would always grow in any way. If you are the kind of person that like researching for information, you will always grow. You will not be deceived. You will always have the answer information to move to the next level. So I do encourage everyone, every viewers, or every of your friends, of your family who are looking to relocate or move to the next level in the academic or career progression, you need to learn to research. You need to be a good reader. You need to be a good researcher so that you can get all the information you need. And don't forget, the website is always there for you to get what you need. So now you're looking to study. If you're studying in London, you need to have about £1,334 per month to show in your bank statement. So that means that if you're applying for visa, now if your university have accepted they've accepted you and they've given you cash, you've paid for cash, don't forget in your bank statement, you need to show the remaining school fees in your account. Now, in addition to that, you need to show the living expense at least for up to 9 months. Now, if you're looking to study in Lincoln, for instance, all you need is £1,023 per month. So you need to multiply £1,023 times 9. Now, that amount and above is what you need in your account. If you're looking to study in London, you need to have up to £1,334 or £1,400 per month in your account. So that's 1,340 times 9 and above. That is what you need in your account. So you need to ensure that these are all planned out. Reason because it just has to be planned out. Without that, you of course it will be a very big problem, and it could cause a visa denial for any students who is looking to study. So if you don't plan your finance, it makes it very, very difficult for you. Now, another thing you should also think about is what do they call it? You need to think about your accommodation fees. Well, your accommodation fee is part of your living expenses, and that needs to be in your account for at least 28 days. 28 days, that money needs to be in your account for 28 days. So we've had a scenario where students will make visa application, and in the process when the student is making visa application, they submit their visa application when the money is there for 20 days. So please bear in mind, if the money is just there for 20 days, that is an automatic visa refusal for that person. So you need to bear that in mind. Let's say, for instance, you've applied for an undergraduate studies. For undergrad, you need to show your 1 year, of course, the first year living expense. You need to show that you have money to take care of yourself. That is very, very important. That needs to be in your account. And then you printed your account like when the money is there for 27 days, and you make application. That is an automatic refusal. Now, I'll take a scenario. Let's say your fees is £10,000. You've paid £5,000 for your CAS. Now you're applying for visa. You have £5,000 left. You need to have £5,000 equivalent in your account, equivalent to your local currency. Not just that, you need to have your health surcharge fees. Well, if you have another bank account or anyone who can pay for that for you, it's not really necessary. You need to have your living expenses. Now, I mentioned earlier, London, 1,400 approximately. If you're outside London, £1,023. Let's say have approximately like 9,500 or £10,000. All this money in addition is what you need to have in your account. So if everything sum up, for instance, to be 15 million Ghana cedis, for example, or let's say 15 million naira, that money needs to be there like that. and your account needs to run within that period of time, within at least 28 days, which means 15 million naira or 15 million Ghana cedis or 15 million Kenya shillings needs to be there for more than at least 48 days. So that's what they meant, a month. That's what you will need to put in your application. So failure to adhere to the UK government policy is an automatic refusal. So there's no prayer on the mountain that would work on that. You just need to follow the rules. We've had a situation where students, I come across a student who would say, a bank statement wasn't complete. She was so eager to apply for visa, and the money in her account was just 26 days. And then you say, oh, I'm a very prayerful person. Once I pray and then maybe go to Skabash somewhere, God will just cover their eyes, or maybe Allah will cover their eyes and then they will give me the visa. It doesn't work that way. Everything is well documented. There's policy to follow, there are rules to follow. So you need to ensure you follow the rules of any country you're going to. It's highly important. So now I've mentioned about why your bank statement should be good, but also one thing you also need to take note of is how your bank statement is presented. There are lots of students who make this big mistake, very big mistake on how their bank statement should look like. Now, when you're submitting visa application, especially to the UK, it's advisable for you to have a bank statement that is very clear and all the information are well spelled out and they're stamped and signed with the name of the bank on it, with the address of the bank, and with the contact details of the bank. Now, if you are submitting visa application and you've used, let's say you've printed a copy of a bank statement, something like this, and then you don't have a name written to it on it, you don't have like a stamp or signature, it might lead to a visa refusal. I do tell my students, I do tell applicants, you don't risk it, especially when you are, spending lots of money to study, especially when you are paying, more than £1,000 or more than $500 to make application. You can't risk it. You need to ensure that your documents are very clear, has all the information you need to apply. Now, when you go to the embassy for your interview, they wouldn't tell you all these things. They expect you to know the right thing to do. They expect you to know the right documents to use. When you get to the embassy, they just tell you your documents. So whatever you submit to them is what they will tender. Or whatever you've uploaded earlier is what will be used to determine your next level. So you're submitting your bank statement. The name of the bank needs to be well spelled. Good thing, I do advise students, please make sure you use popular banks, especially when you are, submitting your bank details. Don't or bank statements. Don't use banks that are so difficult to trace. It could cause a refusal. Let's say, for instance, let's say you are considering a bank. Maybe there's one bank, Happy Bank, and the Happy Bank is not popular in the country where you're coming from. Now, when the UK VI guys, for instance, if they're looking at your application, or probably they are not too sure of the amount in your account and they want to verify, and you've used a bank or you've opened a bank with this institution that are not even popular, they're not even easily accessible, it could cause a whole lot of trouble for you. And even if you're not refused, it could cause a delay in your visa process. So all these things are the things you need to consider when you're putting in your application. Now, we've had examples of students or applicants who would print bank statements, or maybe you go to a bank, it just give you a blank statement on a piece of paper. And on that piece of paper, no signature. Let's say there's a signature, no bank name or no bank address, and then you use it. Do you know that that statement can be termed as a fraudulent statement? I mentioned you can't blame the visa team. You can't blame them. Reason because there have been cases of people using fake documents to submit application, people using fake documents to get admission. So especially if your country are on red list, Nigeria, Ghana, most African countries are on red list. Most of them, Pakistan as well on red list, India as well on red list. When I mean red list, they are high risk countries. So anything you submit is critically checked. Your I's need to be dotted, your T's need to be crossed. So you need to ensure all your documents are well in place. Not just that, your birth certificate you're submitting, Errors, errors, errors. Avoid errors. I do have scenarios whereby applicants or friends or an attending student will come to me and say, Yetunde, I have this document. I have a problem with my birth certificate. For instance, my name is Oluwasheo, and on your statement or probably on your document you have Sheo, and on your offer letter you have Oluwasheo, and let's say on another document, let's say your certificate, you have Oluwasheo. You need to be very conscious of things like that. It's very common for some students who don't, some people have nonchalant attitude, they just submit whatever they see. Hi, Oluwato Biloba. Thank you for joining. Thank you so much for joining. And I'll be taking your questions one by one. Anthony, I hope you're still watching. Olivia, thank you for joining. Tina, thank you so much for joining. You're welcome to the show of today. Please like this video, share this video to your friends, to your classmates, to anyone who are aspiring to come to the UK or outside the country, or anyone who's aspiring to join Lincoln, or anybody who's actually interested in £5,000 scholarship or 50% scholarship, or who is looking to study at a prestigious university in the UK. Thank you so much for joining. So I have a question here. Are online classes still offered at Lincoln? Also, is it better to be on campus or off campus with work and studying in mind? A very good question from a viewer from Nigeria. Yes, so it depends on the course you're going for. At a time when the COVID situation was quite high, the university had a blended approach. They had the online version with the virtual one and the face to face. Now, I can tell you that most of the classes in Lincoln are face to face. Reason because we understand that students they would have the outstanding experience. There's nothing like you coming to class, meeting other people from other countries. There's nothing as amazing as coming to class, seeing your lecturer face to face and having that physical experience on campus. So, of course, when you're looking to study, especially in Lincoln, is a face-to-face class. You're going to be having as a student of Lincoln. And I'm very sure some universities as well in the UK have also gone back to the face-to-face classes because COVID measures are very, very well in place in the UK at the moment. So there's no fear regarding that. So it's a face-to-face class you're going to be having. And in terms of work, please, I do encourage students, as an international student, you're only restricted to 20 hours to work a week. Now, it doesn't mean that you should not have the work experience. If you can cope with it, use your 20 hours because the 20 hours will give you that experience. In my last video, I talked about the importance of making use of your 20 hours because at the end of the day, when you finish your studies, when you're applying to a job, some employer will tell you or would ask for a UK work experience. So how would you get the UK work experience if you don't make use of your part-time 20 hours to work a week? So you can apply, you can assess that. Now, one thing you need to bear in mind, failure to meet your class attendance could cause a withdrawal of student visa. Yes, you need to bear that in mind. So with our situation whereby students will come to the UK, they work more than 20 hours doing study time, and then they get caught and they will get sent back. So you need to make sure, you need to ensure you work just to your 20 hours in a week after your studies. Of course, after studies, when you're done, you can work full time. So that's how it's done. So I do encourage you, please follow the procedure, follow the policy, follow the government policy. Try not to break rules so that you don't be used as an example to amend the rules. Try not to break the rules so that you don't become an example to amend the rules. So that's a very good point I've laid out to you. Please ensure that you attend your face-to-face classes. Don't say because you want to, have a better life, you just come to the UK, you don't attend classes or you just go online because your classes are also can be part of your marks. Now, we have some lecturers who do it in a way that you have to attend the class and attenders give you a marks. Maybe it could be 10%, it could be 20%. So you have to ensure you attend all your classes. If there's any reason why you will not be in class, at least make sure your attendance is more than 80% attendance. Make sure it's more than 80%. Anything lesser than 70, 60, that will become alarming and that could make a student get sent back home. If you're a hardworking person, 20 hours is enough for you as a student. Now, if you're married, your case is different because your spouse can work many hours, but you as the student are only restricted to 20 hours a week to do any voluntary work or any work experience you want to have in addition to your academic experience. So now, I've mentioned about that. Thank you so much for asking that question, Toby. That was a very, very good question. Now, there's one more question, one more information I want to stress on. I mentioned about the importance of checking your documents. Now, if you've applied already to a university in the UK and you've had errors on your documents and you are able to scale through having unconditional offer, please bear in mind that the fact that it has worked for you in getting offer doesn't mean it will work for you in visa, which is the reason why it's very important for you to scan through all your documents, ensure they are clear. Every information that are needed is there. Now, I mentioned an example earlier about spelling errors, name errors. Those are the things you need to take note of. Let's say in your passport, you have your name as Ahmed with the A, and then in your other documents, you have it as Ahmed with the H. Please, if you're that kind of person who have errors in their documents, this is the right time for you to make corrections. If it's your birth certificate, go to the National Population Census or go to wherever you've gotten certificates, get it renewed with the correct name on it before you put in your visa application. Reason, because once you submit your visa application, you cannot revert that back. You cannot take that back. You will not even have the chance of calling those guys who are working on the visa application to say, I made a mistake. Please, can I submit another document for corrections? So it's very important that you check your documents, you check your bank statements. Your money is there for at least more than 28 days. In my last week video, I also mentioned about the type of bank statement you can use. Remember, I told you you cannot use your wife's bank statement. You cannot use your husband's bank statement. As a student or intending student, you can only use your own official statement or your parent's bank statement. All this information you can get on the university website, or you can get on the government website at gov.uk. Google is your friend. There's nothing you're looking for on this earth. Anything you have questions about, once you go on Google, you find the right answer. Although there will be wrong answers in some other websites, but go to the government website and that will guide you through. You cannot use your friend's bank statement. It has to be your parents' bank statement or your own bank statements. And when you're using your parent bank statement, they have to write a consent letter signed by your parents, either your mother or your father, signed by them. Also, they need to state in the letter that you are their son or you are their daughter. They also need to also put information that they are aware that you're going to do your master's or they are aware to do your undergraduate studies. If possible, you can even give them your student ID number on the letter so that your parents can write it. And that shows that, they are your real parents. You have to put those information. For example, let's say a student bear John and John is using his father's bank statement to apply for visa. Now, the father would need to write, I, so, is the father of John, so, and I'm aware that my son or my daughter is going to do his or her master's at Lincoln University with he or she have the student number 335000, and I'm giving my daughter or my son the permission to use my account number 357 at Johnson Bank. So those are the examples of notes. So information needs to be very clear, well stamped and signed. And another thing you need to bear in mind, when you're using your parents' bank statement, make sure their name on the bank statement corresponds to their name on your birth certificate. Now, a question someone will ask why is that important? Thank you, Tina. I'll pick up your questions once I finish talk about this. Why is this important? Now, because there have been cases where students have a situation whereby they use their mom or their father's bank statement, and let's say at the time when their mother opened the account, it was a maiden name. And on the birth certificate, the mother had her husband's name. At the point when the student was applying for visa, the person or the case worker working on the application felt this could be another person's bank statement. And then on the letter the mother provided to the person just wrote the husband's name without even mentioning that they were once bearing a maiden name. So, and that was an automatic refusal. So, every of your information needs to tally. Most people don't know about this. Some agents don't know this. Some agents forget, they know. They forget to mention this to students. And some students forget to cross check or to vet their document before submitting. So, I'll pick a question here. If I want to apply for university in UK to do masters, how will I go about this? Thank you so much, Tina. It's very, very easy. First thing first is researching. For instance, if you're interested in University of Lincoln, you can reach out to me on my work official email at yogedengbe@lincoln.ac.uk. During working hours, I can reply you. But if you're looking to study in any other university, the first thing first is go on Google. Go on Google, search universities in UK, universities in England, and then you pick out those universities. And then you also need to have a budget. Now, Tina, first of all, think about your budget. How much do you have? What are the ranges of fees? What are the ranges what ranges can you afford? Are you looking for the Russell Group University, or are you looking for just a university that have a quality education? For instance, if you're looking to go for an affordable university with affordable fees that have scholarships, I mentioned earlier University of Lincoln's that offer £5,000 to any students who are coming January 2023. And I also mentioned about some of the programs like MSc Management, MSc Marketing, MSc Hospitality Management, Tourism, that have 1 year placements, or sport management course that have 1 year placements, engineering management that have 6 month placements, or digital marketing, which is also a very popular program that people are doing right now because of the whole COVID situation. It has 1 year placements in Lincoln. We have the agri-food technology with 6 month placements. Or if you're looking to go to another schools like GCU that have the postgraduate scholarship, £15,000, that is also something you can consider. Hertfordshire as well, Bournemouth, all over the UK, we do have universities around. But if you're looking to come to Lincoln, please get in touch with me at yogedenb@lincoln.ac.uk, or you can WhatsApp me at my work WhatsApp +447500977150. That's my work WhatsApp, and that's available Monday to Friday within 9:30 to 4:30 time. So this show basically is what I've done personally to support you, to give you the information you require, and a platform for you to ask any questions you would like to ask. Thank you for that question. So if you still have more questions, please drop down on the chat. We'll soon be rounding off. We have less than 15 minutes to round off the show for today. And I do encourage you, please subscribe if you have not subscribed. Subscribe to Pure Empowerment with Yeti TV. And please share this video, share this live show to anyone you feel is looking to go to the next level in their academic career. And I'll also be here next week as well to bring another topic. But that doesn't mean you cannot ask me any question you want to ask me regarding life, living, and finance in the UK. Now, I've mentioned about your bank statements. I've mentioned about what you need to have in your bank. I've told you where to go to, especially if you don't have anyone to ask these questions from. Or probably if you still have the question after finishing the show, feel free to drop your question on the comment section, and I would answer them one by one. You're welcome, Tina. Now, I also mentioned that accommodation is also a very, very important thing you need to consider. Now, I mentioned earlier the importance of picking a university that is situated in a very affordable city. You know, there are a lot of affordable cities that people don't even know about in the UK. Sometimes when you talk about England, the first thing people think of is London, forgetting that in England there are also other town centers, cities, smaller cities that you can actually access affordable universities. Now, example is Lincoln. I love Lincoln. I love talking about Lincoln. I've studied in Glasgow as well before. Glasgow is also very affordable if you're looking to do that. But if you're looking to focus on England, you know, Glasgow is very affordable. Bournemouth is affordable as well. Portsmouth, affordable, but not as Lincoln. For my own research, Lincoln seems like the most affordable area. because we do have like people or students who are living in shared apartments of £250, £300, 450 a month, bills inclusive, and the bills include, electricity, water, internet, and it also has a very good proximity to the university campus. So which means you don't need to spend lots of money on tickets, on bus tickets or train tickets. So that is something you need to bear in mind. At least have a budget of around £300 to £500 a month. Now, if you have a family, your own case is different. Now, in my last video, I gave an information about what you need to consider if you're bringing your dependents in the UK. Now, don't forget I mentioned if you have kids, a boy and a girl, you cannot put them in the same room. So at least budget like 500, 550 for a 2-3 bedroom flat, unfurnished. When you come, you furnish them. There are some stores you can get cheaper things. So I will talk about that in my next video. How to look for stores to get cheaper materials, cheaper housing materials, cheaper couch, beds. I will talk about that in another video. So that would help you on where to search, where to go to when you first arrive into the UK. I will talk about that in my next video. So we have a question here from a private chat. Is it compulsory for my account to stay 1 month before applying for visa? Yes, and yes. I can't stress this enough. Your money needs to be in your account for more than at least 28 days. Don't even risk it. You can make it 1 month, because failure to follow that guidance and rules could cause a visa refusal. And I did mention something. I would love to mention this because it's very, very important. It's mandatory you follow this rule. If you've provided a wrong bank statement, do you know it can cause a visa refusal? Not just a visa refusal, depending on the person working on your case, it could cause a ban for you. Yes, it could cause a ban. Let's say you apply for a visa and then on the bank statement there's no signature, there's nothing on it, and the bank statement looks fake. Now, when I mean it looks fake, probably the caseworker have called the bank, nobody was picking up. They emailed the bank, nothing. Or they check on the website, they couldn't even get the bank name on the website. That is a red flag, number one red flag. So, hi, Falashade. Thank you for joining me. Thank you. Love you so much. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Click on the subscribe button. Click on notification. Next week, I'll be here to give you another tip of how you can access your study abroad. As I mentioned, this is a way of you getting to the next level by changing your location. Thank you so much, Falashade. Love you all. Love you so much. And please share with your friends, with families, with anyone. As I mentioned, if you're on this show, you're sharing this show, you're also making your own impact by sharing the show. Because it's not just about talking about the study abroad, but it's also impacting into lives, giving people the information they need to move to the next academic and career level. Hi, Adedeji. Thank you so much for joining me. And I'm glad you're here. And I hope to see you next week as well. Please invite your friends. Please subscribe, like, and share so that we can make great impact and help every of our friends out there and every of our change makers to move to the next academic and immigration level. So apart from studies, there are also other ways or other things that bring people into the UK. And that is also another topic for another day. It's about talking about picking up work opportunities in the UK and, of course, courses that you can access. Now, if you've done your master's or you've studied a different course totally from what you studied, don't forget you have a chance of doing a second master's in the UK. There's also a chance for that. I'll talk about that in my next video. But now, moving ahead with finance. I talk about your bank statement. I talk about planning for accommodation, your budget, at least budget like 300 to 550. If you're married, 550 should be enough to get a 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom flat, depending on the proximity to the university. If it's Lincoln, you can get as very short as 10 minutes work, 5 minutes work, 15 minutes work to the university for 550, or of course unfurnished, and then you furnish them. In my next video, I'll talk about where to get cheaper things. When I mean cheaper things, it doesn't mean they are not of good quality, but for a new person, a new starter coming to the UK, it's not advisable for you to start spending money lavishly. You have to also learn to save up money. In fact, cook for yourself. Prevent buying too much things, buying too much, takeaways. That's also a way of you saving money. So I'll talk about how to save up money when you come into the UK, how to get extra money in addition to what you have in your bank accounts as a living expenses. I will talk about that in my next video. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for staying tuned to my channel. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. And plan yourself when you're looking to study in the UK. And if you're interested in University of Lincoln, do not hesitate to reach me on my work email. As I mentioned, this video is just what I'm doing personally to support members of the public, especially when they are considering to study abroad. And don't forget, a closed mouth is a closed destiny, which means you need to speak up. You need to ask questions. You need to ask questions, especially when you're thinking of moving to the next level. And you need to develop the habit of research. When you research, you get all the information you need. When you research, you get everything you need to move to the next level. So plan your finance, plan your school fees, pick the university that you feel will give you more discounts, more flexibility. I mentioned example Lincoln, whereby you have three stages of payments. You pay your cash deposit for £3,000. You pay up to 50% before enrollment. The remaining one can then be spread across 9 months. So there are other universities that also do such payment plan, whether you're looking to study in Glasgow, Wales, or England. So of course, Lincoln, if it's Lincoln, feel free to get in touch with me. Apart from your fees, your visa fees is also something you should consider. Your IHS, your health surcharge is something you can consider. And I also, in terms of IHS, I would also talk in my next video, other videos, the benefits and what are the things you can get as a student in the UK. Now, most students come to the UK, they don't know what they can access. But in my other videos, which I will do later on, I will talk about some exciting benefits. When I mean benefits, I don't mean the benefit of public fund. You can access public fund as an international student, but there are some things like student discounts you can access. So I'll talk about that later on. And I hope you'll be able to get all the information you need. Thank you so much for joining me and have a wonderful and lovely day ahead. So don't forget to subscribe on Pure Empowerment with Yeti TV. Like the video and share. Thank you so much and do have a wonderful and wonderful day ahead. Love you all and do have a lovely Sunday ahead. Bye, everyone. You make me feel
picture in my head. And after driving all night, now here it is. I can finally feel the sun kissing my skin. And I just wanna take it in. Yeah, I just wanna take it in. In and out. This is what it's all about. These are the moments we live for. Once in a lifetime, everything we want more. This is the start of the new day, the good life. Ooh, these are the moments we live for. We'll be the place where the ocean meets the sky. We'll soak it up and have the time of our lives. We'll make these memories our own Hall of Fame. Cause we just wanna take it in. Yeah, we just wanna take it in. Yeah, these are the moments we live for. Once in a lifetime, everything we want more. This is the start of a new day, the good life. Ooh, these are the moments we live for. These are the moments we live for. These are the moments we live for. Breathe it in and out. This is what life's all about. Yeah, breathe it in and out. This is what it's all about. These are the moments we live for. Once in a lifetime, everything we want more. This is the start of a new day, the good life. Ooh, these are the moments we live for. These are the moments we live for. These are the moments